Hey guys, Bob Gardner here from LiberateAman.com. Today I want to tell you about my Kung Fu class. This morning, I teach at Arizona State University. I teach some Kung Fu, some Tai Chi, meditation type exercises and enterprises. And this morning I went there to teach, and the grade's based on pop quizzes. That's how I set it up. And I have a couple of kids in class. They're Chinese, so there's a little bit of a language barrier in there, but so there's other Chinese kids in there that don't have this issue. But there's a couple of kids in class that no matter what I do, they're just there for the credit hours. They're not there for the class, and so they kind of like halfway do stuff. Well, on pop quiz day, they try a little bit harder, or they pretend to try a little bit harder, so that they can get a better score. And then of course they pander up to me afterwards, and they try and get in my good graces and stuff so that they can get a score. I think that's cultural, more than anything, that comes out of that culture. And so today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and so rather than have that whole charade go down, I decided, today I'm going to do it like the Grandmaster used to train us, or that he trained my masters. He would come into class, and one day he'd be like, today's test day, and then he'd test them, and if you passed, you passed. If you didn't, well, you stayed at the same rank. Sometimes he'd give them advance notice, but then sometimes he'd come into class, and then at the end of class say, today was test day. You passed, you didn't. And I thought, well, this could be fun. So I went in. They're pop quizzes anyway. No one says you have to pop it at the beginning of class, and no one says that it's not just based on the work that was done in class. And so there I was. I had them run through all the stuff that we had done. They'd already tested on this material, so they should have known it already. I didn't even test them on any of the new stuff that we had done. I just pop quizzed them on the one stuff, and I had them run through it like 5 times, and then I ran through it with them, and then I had them run through it again, and I had them do some other stuff. And I sort of masked it in the middle, but I was watching them the whole class, just each person in the class, how they did things, did they remember it, were they putting their heart into it, and so on and so forth. These couple of guys, several people there, that because it was just a practice and they were doing it over and over again, they kind of halfway did it. They were looking around. They were just looking at other people. They weren't putting all their effort and energy into it. It was just kind of a willy-nilly kind of exercise. And to me, that's bothersome to me, but I had to be fair in how I graded them. And, they did okay. It's not like they failed it or anything like that. So at the end of class, I gathered them around. And I looked at them and I said, today was test day. And a couple of them looked a little bit concerned, and I told them about my Grandmaster situation. And then I just said, look, guys, I did this on purpose today for a number of reasons, but one of them is that you grew up your whole life. You grew up learning that what matters is when you get measured. What matters in your life is when people are looking at you and they're judging you. All the moments where they're not looking at you, those don't matter as much, and you can kind of go halfway in those moments. Those moments behind the curtain, those moments when no one's watching, those are the moments that you can slack off and do whatever the heck you want. But in the moments when people are looking at you, that's when you better be on your best behavior. That's when you better show up and give everything that you've got, because that's what matters. And so you're here in college, and you're getting grades, and you're getting a GPA, and you're getting a degree so that people can look at you and say that you're worth something or not worth something. And then I asked them this one question. I said, when you leave your college career, what is it that you're going to remember? What about all those moments between the measurements? Are you going to remember those? And one of the guys said, well, I'll remember the mistakes. I said, yeah, I got some good mistakes that I still remember from college. There's a cake story in there. I don't know if I've posted that one. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. That's hilarious. But the thing that is crazy here for these guys is that they miss all of these. There's so much life between now and Thursday's test. So much life between now and then. And if I haven't learned to give everything to my involvement of life right now, and only then basically I miss most of my life. And I look back years later and I only remember a few things, and I remember college being boring or irritating, or that one professor. I remember some intense experiences, the experiences that woke me up and forced me to be there for him, but then all the rest of it just passed by the wayside. And those are the moments that are the beautiful moments. Those are the moments that bring joy and peace and happiness, because they're moments where you're just deeply involved in your life. So I invited him afterwards, to take this as a lesson for every class, but also everywhere else they go, to stop freaking out only about the test, but instead, like, not freak out, but be involved in every moment that's going on. So now I'm coming home and I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about how I measure my life. You know, I'm a business owner. All right, so I measure my life by, hey, Mom, how's it going? Hey, my mom's watching. Yeah. So I measure my life by how much money I bring in my business, for instance. That's a measurement. And if all I ever measure my life by is every deposit that's made in my bank account, if that's how I measure my business, then I miss out on all the moments that I have with clients. I miss out on all of the moments that I have where I'm learning something new or understanding something better. I miss out on all the little pains and the agonies. I miss out on everything because the measure of my business is my bank account. And that means that I had a good time or a not good time, and that's it. And the same thing goes with my family. Like, sometimes the measure of a relationship is how good was sex, or sometimes it's, did I spend time, or did we go on date night, or did I write her a little note today? Or, like, there's these small moments that I measure the quality of the relationship with, but then I miss all the moments in between, all the moments where we're sitting on the couch side by side. Or she just has a question and we're talking about something that's totally inane. Or we're swapping movie quotes, for crying out loud. Disney movies, you know? And that's, like, those are moments that I miss if I'm only focused on, well, is my marriage good? Because I'm measuring it. Same with my relationships with my kids. The times that I've scheduled to be there with them, 100%, amazing experiences. But what about the in-between times? There's so much of life that you and I miss because we're involved in measuring whether or not it's good enough. And my invitation for you today, and have you consider this as a possibility, to let go of even the question of whether or not your life is good enough. Whether or not your life is worth living. Let go of the question and just get involved with it, because those are the moments that bring you some of the most profound peace and joy that just wells up from inside you. Not because you've done something amazing, not because somebody else saw it, but because you finally gave up to life instead of giving up to death and going to sleep until something wakes you up. This is across the board. Don't miss all the moments between the measurements. If you're a churchgoer and you went to church on Sunday, is that the only way that you measure your spirituality? What about all those moments in between? What about praying always? What about a constant connection? And that comes from getting deeply involved in your life and not from segregating it into this is my that and this is that, and if I did this and I made the checklist, then I'm good. There's no more checklist. There are things that you measure only to see if they're working for you and they're bringing you happiness. That's the only reason to measure something. Otherwise, it's just useless measurement, and it's causing you to miss all the moments in between. So today, as you head out into your life, my invitation to you is look at your calendar. You've got a few moments scheduled. Don't miss the moments between those. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.